Hi, my name is Kathy Taylor, and I'm a Gold Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I just want to share with you a little bit tonight about what I have learned about blood sugar and our product called Plexus Slim. So this may be a very simplified version of what happens with blood sugar, but I hope it'll help you understand a little bit better about what's going on in our bodies and why Plexus Slim can help us out. So first of all, why is balanced blood sugar so important? The truth of the matter is that our blood sugar levels affect pretty much everything that happens in our body. It affects our ability to fall asleep. It affects our ability to stay asleep. It affects our energy, our mental clarity, our mood, our eyesight, our central nervous system, our circulation system. So our body is constantly working to create a state of homeostasis or balance when it comes to our blood sugar. Having very high or very low blood sugar is extremely harmful to our health and can cause high blood sugar, especially can cause tissue damage, damage in the circulation system, which is why people with diabetes have issues with neuropathy and things like that. So very, very bad for us. So our body's constantly working to keep a nice, even balance. So a quick biology lesson, and again, this is very simplified, but basically, this is what should happen. Every time we eat food, that food is turned into glucose or a simple sugar in our bloodstream. And when that happens, in response to the glucose going up in our bloodstream, our body releases insulin. And insulin's whole job, or one of its main functions, is to help get the glucose out of your bloodstream, transport it through the cell wall and into the individual cells in our body, where it's then turned into ATP or energy. And then as the insulin does its job and starts to move the glucose into the cells, then another chemical is released called leptin. And leptin is the hormone that lets our body know that we're full. It's the hormone that lets us know we're satiated. And then any glucose that's left over in our blood after the initial glucose has been moved into our cells to be made into energy, that leftover glucose, like I said, it's harmful to our body. So our body takes it and stores it in the liver, where it's slowly released over time so that our blood sugar can stay level even though we're not constantly eating. It's amazing how our bodies work. Well, that is what should happen. But unfortunately, for many of us, that is not what's actually happening in our bodies. For many of us, our diets are full of sugar, way more sugar than we should be having. Even if you think that you're eating really healthy, oftentimes there's a lot of hidden sugars. You know, for example, a serving of spaghetti sauce, canned spaghetti sauce, often has more sugar in it than 2 Oreos. Many of our favorite yogurts have more sugar in it than a candy bar. So a lot of times the things that we think are healthy still have a lot of hidden sugars in them. And on top of that, we're often bombarding our system with a large amount of sugar all at one time, specifically in the form of sodas and energy drinks and things like that, where we're suddenly taking a huge amount of sugar and dumping it into our body all at once. And it sends us into a tizzy. The problem is that over time, if we constantly have high levels of sugar in our blood, then our body's having to produce high levels of insulin all the time. And this creates a problem called insulin resistance. Even if you're not diabetic, even if for people who are slender, we can develop insulin resistance. And that's where the cells no longer receive the insulin because it's been so bombarded. And that means that the insulin can no longer pull the glucose into the cells where it should be to make energy, and instead it stays floating in the bloodstream. It's just very harmful for our bodies because then our cells are confused and they send a false message to our brain saying, we're starving, feed me, we need energy, when everything it needs is right there. It just doesn't know it. The other problem with insulin resistance is when our insulin levels stay high, then the leptin hormone, which is supposed to tell us that we're full, is blocked by that high insulin. And so then we don't even, again, we're getting another false signal from our body that we're still hungry, that we need to eat more. At the same time, like I said, that glucose floating around in the bloodstream is very bad for our body. So to protect itself, the body tries to dump all that excess glucose straight into the liver. Problem is the liver can only handle so much sugar at once. So when it gets overloaded, it triggers a response called lipogenesis, which is where sugar is immediately converted into fat, which is going to cause weight gain, and it also can cause a problem called fatty liver. Interesting thing about fatty liver is once you have that problem with fatty liver, it actually causes or increases insulin resistance. So it just becomes this vicious cycle. There's also a lot of really interesting studies coming out about how addictive sugar is. Some really, really good ones that are more current and are more accurate. And it shows that that sugar can be as addictive or even more addictive than cocaine or heroin or other illegal drugs, that it actually lights up the same parts of our brain that illegal drugs do. So that's a second problem that we have with sugar, is that it's highly addictive and our body always wants more and more and more of it. And that is that's how I felt pre-Plexus. It's like I was constantly fighting this internal battle where I knew logically what foods I should be eating, but my body was sending me all these false signals and cravings that were inconsistent with what I knew I should be doing. So I felt like I was constantly at war with myself. And that's where Plexus for me made a huge difference. Plexus Slim is this awesome pink drink you may have heard about. It comes in these little packets. You mix it with water. You drink it once a day. I love how convenient it is. I love that it's not a meal replacement. I still get to chew my food. And I like that I can still eat dinner with my family. I'm not trying to make myself this really strict, strange diet on the side. You should be trying to eat healthy and exercise. If this is all about it becoming a tool to promote a healthy lifestyle, but I do like the flexibility and the convenience of it. So you drink it once a day, and it's very natural. It doesn't have crazy chemicals in it. It doesn't have stimulants or caffeine in it. It's mostly plant-based, and but it does have 4 ingredients in it that make a huge difference when it comes to blood sugar. The first major ingredient in Plexus Slim is chromium, which is an essential trace mineral. And one of the main things that chromium does is it helps insulin do its job. It aids insulin in pulling glucose out of the bloodstream across the cell membrane and getting that glucose into the cells where we want it to go to create energy. So it really helps with balancing blood sugar. The second ingredient in Plexus Slim is alpha lipoic acid, and it is a very powerful antioxidant. It has been clinically shown in many studies to help reduce fatty liver, to help reduce cholesterol and lipids. So it's going to make your liver a much happier place and allow the liver to do its job in regulating blood sugar levels. The third ingredient is chlorogenic acid, and chlorogenic acid has also been shown to help with fatty liver as well as to help with balancing blood sugar. And then the fourth ingredient is, I don't check my notes, Garcinia cambogia. I lost my train of thought. Garcinia cambogia it has a natural serotonin booster in it, and it has been shown to help reduce binge eating and emotional eating. So you can really see how these 4 ingredients work together synergistically to help our bodies to stay more level at blood sugar and have a healthier and happier liver so it can do its job and function optimally. And that's really what I found, is that as I used the Slim consistently as directed and drank all the water that I was supposed to be drinking, that my body started to work with me instead of against me. And that I found myself naturally craving healthier foods and not craving the junk food. In fact, the junk food became very repellent to me. I found that I wasn't emotionally eating as much, that I could finally, felt like my body was giving me the correct signals, that I could still enjoy a sweet treat now and again, but I finally had that upper threshold, that those correct signals from my body saying, you've had enough, that's too much. And it's been a very freeing thing to be able to feel more healthy. It's been an amazing tool to help break me out of that addiction cycle and help me to make those better choices so that I can consistently eat healthier and exercise. And so I'm super excited I gave Plexus Slim a try. I hope you will too. Have a good night.